Welcome, friends. Thank you for joining us. My name is Joel, and this is the O2 Drop. This is WA's VGC podcast coming from Perth, home of Australia's smallest regional championship. Today I'm joined by my friends Dan.
Hello.
Ethan.
I'm also here.
And Mark.
How's it going?
Good. Thank you for asking. So today...
How are you, Joel?
I'm okay. Other than heart disease, I'm great. So today we're going to talk about Reg F. A little bit because it is done. We have the full list of Reg F stonks and the, of course, strongest soldiers for Reg F. But before we get into that, I would just like to ask you guys a question. How did you guys enjoy Reg F?
Well, first of all, sorry to hear about your heart disease.
It's okay. It's being managed.
Good. Well, I am glad that Reg F is dead, to be honest.
Boo.
Yeah, agreed, boo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm in the minority here.
Yes.
You are.
Joel, back me up.
No, I really enjoyed Reg F.
Even after I expressed my condolences, my God. Well, no, I just found, maybe it's because I'm a terrible fucking player who deserved to lose, but I found this regulation, even more so than a lot of the others, really hard to manage. There was a lot of diversity in it, which is traditionally quite great, but as a more defensive player this time around, I found that the sheer power level of all of the different archetypes that were flying around, it was difficult to juggle all the matchups and keep everything on the straight and narrow. And it's just, there were always weird things that you would find yourself losing to as you played through games. Even if you had the most rock solid core in the world, it was frustrating.
I will, as much of a Reg F enjoyer as I am, I will agree that it was basically impossible to make a team in Reg F that didn't have at least one matchup that was just lost because it just hard counted you.
I think that's kind of a balance thing, though. Like when you, I suppose it's kind of like the Utrecht thing, right? Like that came in out of nowhere and it destroyed everyone, and then it was so heavily counted that it didn't appear again.
Sure.
Yeah, basically, right? Like I think that was a really good part of Reg F, that if you were a big brain boy or girl or person, that you could come in and dominate the format.
Non-binary friend.
Yeah,
non-binary.
Yeah. No, yeah, it definitely left room for innovation, I think. And that's, what an Articuno popping up out of nowhere did. And then we had all the a bunch of the GCs in Reg F. So we had all the Japanese players cooking. Which unfortunately led to Ting Dozo coming best
Thank
of
you
threes.
for that best of one menace.
Yeah. And that was became one of the top teams and was at like every regional after that GC, unfortunately. So,
it knocked our very own Kieran thing.
Well, I was about to say Kieran Singh, regional champion, one of Perth's best players.
Missed out on EUIC Day 2.
EUIC Day 2 and Perth Day 2, both times because he came up against that team, which, as I mentioned earlier, every team in Reg F has a hard counter, and that was it for him. We rue the Japanese for introducing that into our format.
It just goes to show that the landscape from even one week to the next, and this was the other sort of frustrating factor about Reg F, is that the meta moves so fucking fast. As soon as you thought you found your footing, something new would pop up.
Oh yeah,
that just destroyed you. And I think like Kieran's the parable of Kieran Singh is a great example of that, because he was running the same team basically the whole regulation, right?
Yeah.
He had his Rory Moonamungas thing going on, and that carried him all the way up to the top position at Melbourne, and then something like that Ting Dozo team showed up, and I'm sure there are other problematic matchups as well. There was a ton of Archaludon at Perth in particular, and I know that was a problem matchup for him. So is it any wonder?
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed Reg F. It's the first regulation since Reg B that I made it to Master Ball on cart. So
congratulations.
I was hyped as. Big thanks go to Sliff for the team on that one. I used Cornicle all the way to 1995. Was my final placing for Master Ball. It was my highest placing in Master Ball. So I was super psyched on Reg F.
Absolutely same. I would say I got more points in a single regulation in Reg F than I ever have prior. And I felt incredibly comfortable in the regulation like I haven't had in probably a couple of years, I'd say. Just having a team that any matchup, even a theoretically losing one, I felt that I wasn't scrambling around for plays and, just, again, felt really comfortable with it.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I feel like it's probably the most comfortable I've been since Reg A.
Yeah.
I psyched myself out in Reg B, even though I was super comfortable with good mons, and then I psyched myself out and didn't do anything with that. So what about you, Dan?
Yeah, loved it. Mainly because once that Tail Room Blood Moon team came up, I was like, this is so much fun.
It was so good.
Started spamming it. I think that's how my team always progressed. It was just I'll just have a speed boost Icy Wind Flutter mains. Why don't I just do a dual mode with a Tailwind support?
Yeah.
But to that double-edged sword, another dishonorable mention to my Tornadus for missing.
hey man, your Tornadus, my Chi Yu.
Didn't you have Rain Dance on that thing?
No, it didn't.
You didn't? Oh,
No.
okay.
No.
Sunny day.
Just asking, Yeah, I don't know. To be fair to the meta, I guess it was one of those formats where if you found the right team for you that you could pilot well and had at least a decent matchup into most things in the meta, then you had a great time. And I just don't think that I found that magical perfect team in time for the end of the format.
Well, that does tie in nicely to our next bit, which is the Reg F stonks.
I am going to need you to explain what the fuck you mean.
Okay. So Reg F stonks. Thank you to Lab Mouse. They have a filter on their website where you can search in a date period, in regulation, in official, unofficial, and it'll show you the teams that performed best in that time frame.
Okay.
So they have their own point system, which is different to the point system that we're used to at regionals and PCs and everything like that. They just 200 points for winner. It's 160 for second place, and it sort of steps down a bit like that. It has kickers.
Yep.
So the bigger the tournament, the more it goes down. So the team that earned the most points in Reg F, so this is a full six Pokemon composition based on points and official competition. Chi-Yu.
Yep.
Ogerpon Water.
Naturally.
Tornadus. Urshifu Dark. Glamora. Fluttermane.
That doesn't seem like a team comp that I recognize.
Yeah, I don't think I saw that team before.
That's what Nick Khan was running in Melbourne. It's that Glamora hyper offense.
Okay.
That's really annoying to deal with the Meteor Beam Glamora.
Yep. So that team earned 3,090 points over the
overall.
4-month period of Reg F in official competition.
People like Unga Bunga. That's pretty.
I'm surprised you haven't heard of this, Mark.
Yeah. That's not Onga enough for me. Ogerpon Water instead of Ogerpon Half Flame. What is the point of a special defense boost when you can just boost your attack and hit them harder? That's the true meaning of Unga Bunga.
That is the true meaning of Unga Bunga. So second place, I think everyone will be familiar with this.
Okay.
2,650 points in Reg F. Chien Pao.
Yep.
Raging Bolt.
Yep.
Landorus Incarnate.
Yep.
Incin Rillaboom. Urshiwater.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the team we're
That
expecting.
is
That's
the
one.
most standard Reg F
Quintessential good
team.
stuffs.
Yeah, for sure.
And then in third place is Ogerpon Firemask, Tornadus, Urshidark, Ursaluna Blood Moon, Farigiraf, and Iron Hands.
Yeah, Tail Room.
Tail Room. So, after that, doesn't really matter too much. The best win rate in Reg F with a 6 Pokemon composition in official tournaments. Would anyone like to hazard a guess?
Does it have Ogerpon Wellspring in it?
No.
Does it have Raging Bolt?
No.
It's gonna
Holy
be,
shit.
It's gonna be the double genie that Wolf ran and what Cat's won Perth with, right?
Yeah. So Amoonguss, Double Genie, Incin, Urshiwater, and Fluttermane in official competition in Reg F a 70.6% win rate.
Good Lord.
It went 116 wins and 46 losses.
That's insane.
Damn. Is that per game or like?
So that's sets. That's sets.
Yeah, sorry,
What-
sets. Yeah.
Second place. Who wants to have a guess?
In win rate.
Win rate. Under 100 matches total for this team.
Okay, I was going to say, surely the one with the highest win rate is the team that rocked up and no one else, like, it only ever saw play once and it won, like, most of its games.
Okay.
So something super obscure.
My guess is it's not the Glamora team because everyone, while it might have been the most popular, I don't think it was the best or the best.
Yeah,
practices.
as soon as teams get really popular, the win rate plummets because it just gets picked up by every 1,100 player who watches Wolf's videos.
Okay.
That's why it can't be Wolfie 6.
No.
I'll give you a hint. Everyone was hype about it.
It wasn't the snow team, was it?
It was the snow team.
Oh.
Utrecht, okay.
Second best win rate of a 6-mon composition. 70.7% win rate. It went 70 wins and 29 losses in official
Wow.
comp.
Damn.
Now that genuinely does surprise me because after Utrecht, every asshole on Showdown was running the Articuno team. It was
Bear in mind,
everywhere, and it was
filtering by official.
so
Yeah,
so
none
that
of
must
those
be.
kids had the nads to bring.
Well, I was going to say that's my assumption. I guess is no one was actually bringing it to tournaments, and that's what I guess surprises me. I was expecting a lot of people would have done.
Yeah,
Because-
under 100 matches in official competition. So
Yeah,
it would
okay.
have had 30 at Utrecht, I think, because there
Something
were
like that.
three. No, there was 2 people running it, and they both made it to day 2.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I mean,
1/3 of its matches would have come from one tournament.
and then 2/3 from following official tournaments. We never really saw it after that, right?
Hence, so if you take out like its Utrecht performance, it went 40-29
Okay.
or thereabouts.
That's like online tours and stuff. That
Yeah.
Pretty much
Yeah.
like people feed
Yeah.
with it. So
And in third place, Chien Pao, Ogapon, Firemask, Raging Bolt, Amoongus, Urshifu, Rapid, and King Gambit.
interesting.
Interesting.
70.69%
Nice.
win rate.
Nice.
I mean, I hear King Gambit and I immediately think of Luca Treger. Was that his team?
I don't know who used these teams. I just had a look at team compositions.
I will say that doesn't surprise me that King Gambit has a high, I guess,
Win rate.
win rate. Yeah, because King Gambit, ever since Regulation A, and consistently every regulation since, the top level players, so when you're watching streams and you're looking at day 2, King Gambit's usage was up there. King Gambit's usage in general, not high, but amongst the highest level players, King Gambit's always been there. It seems like one of those mons that, surprisingly for what it is, actually has quite a high skill
Ceiling.
ceiling, skill cap. And I feel like it's one of those Pokemon that isn't used as highly, but it's used by players who win.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that assessment.
Especially like the Black Glasses set.
Oh, yeah.
I just brought up Luca Treger, and because that is just mono attacking dark, I get the sense that in order to use that properly, you need to know your calcs. You
Yeah.
click SD, you click Terra, and you're going to be outputting huge amounts of damage even into resists. But knowing which resist is the key.
Yeah, and when you've got a Pokemon that is so dedicated to doing one thing,
Mhm.
you know, this thing only has dark type coverage. You have to be extremely careful with how you play, thinking about your end game states to make sure you're not going to be up against, you know, the Terra Fairy Raging Bolt and with the ability to do fuck all +1, right?
Yeah.
Like, you really need to be considering the board state and having that available for when you need it. So that's why I never ran it, 'cause
Yeah.
I was never able to figure that out.
Oh, it's definitely beyond me. I just clicked Trick Room. I clicked Follow Me Trick Room, and then I blew things up with Eruption for the whole of it. That's all I did.
Huge. I clicked Tailwind Heatwave.
My favorite composition on the win rate in 5th place with 69.8%
Nice.
win rate. Good, Mark. Good. Goldengo, Roaring Moon,
Ooh.
Porygon 2, Amoongus, Landorus Incarnate, Incin.
Interesting.
Okay.
In official competition, 118 wins and 51 losses.
Whose team was that?
I'm not sure, but
No.
it sounds awesome. It sounds like a team I would not be able to run.
By the way, so on LabMouse, you can find lists of the 6 exact mons
Yep.
and I'm definitely, when I get home, going to go and see if anyone else was running my nonsense team.
You have to go digging.
I absolutely have to go digging.
Okay, so we step it down now. That was our 6 Mon compositions.
Mhm.
Okay.
5 Mon compositions, Reg F, based on points they earned, based on lab mouses allocation in official tournaments. Who would like to hazard a guess as to the top 5 composition of Reg F?
Okay, surely Ogerpon Water is in this one. I've been guessing
No.
it. What the fuck, man?
I mean,
That thing was everywhere.
And we go to Ethan now.
the thing with Wellspring is that it was everywhere. Like,
I mean,
in Melbourne, it was the top.
We're going on points, not
Yeah.
win rate.
We're not looking at win rate here. If it was win rate, I'd absolutely agree. Every moron was running Ogerpon Water, just dragging down its win rate. But in terms of like, I feel that thing was ridiculously successful. If nothing else, just by in terms of the sheer number that were brought, chances are one of them was going to win.
I feel like either way, it kind of, I don't want to say fell off, but it was used a lot less, especially after Melbourne, after January. It kind of went the same way as Urshi Dark, like that meta trend.
Yeah.
Like Hearthflame went up and Urshi Water went up kind of at the same time. And so Wellspring was very popular at the beginning of the format and then less so later on.
I will tell you that Ogerpon Watermask was in 2nd, 4th, and 5th place for best 5 Mon compositions.
Okay, yeah. I've got to assume Landorus Eye surely up there as well.
We definitely move on to Ethan now.
Okay.
I like this.
Fuck
game,
me, I
so
guess.
This is
Yeah.
fun.
Okay, following on from our previous thought, was Ogerpon Fire in the top comp?
No. It
No
didn't
Ogerpon.
appear in the top 5 Mon
Okay.
composition.
What is Among Us?
No.
Damn it.
What the hell?
Yeah.
One of the Yoshifus, surely.
Yeah, Urshi Water.
Yeah.
Okay, yep.
Flutter?
No.
No. Interesting.
So along with Urshi Water, we have the rest of the pivot core, Insin and Rillaboom.
Of course.
Naturally.
Raging Bolt.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So, Firewater Grass Raging Bolt accounts for 90% of teams in yeah, for Reg G, so we're narrowing it down.
Last one. Oh,
Torn?
no, the Noodle,
The Noodle.
Chien Pao.
Really? Okay.
No, that
Okay, makes sense. Yeah,
In official competition, based on Lab Mouse's breakdown, 4,810 points with a win rate of 66.91%. It is actually 3rd on the win rate percentage. So an extremely successful 5 Mon core in Reg F.
Yeah.
2nd place, Ogerpon Water, Tornadus, Urshi Dark, Glamora, and Flutter. So part of the hyper offense Glim. And then 3rd was Raging Bolt, Landorus Incarnate, Insin, Rillaboom, Urshi Water. So some repeating themes here.
So basically the same as the other one, except Lando Eye instead of.
Yeah, swap out Raging and Chien and put in sorry. Never mind me. Yes, what Mark said.
What was it swapping out? Was it Chempao? Lando Eye instead of Chempao?
Yeah. Okay, win rate in Reg F for 5 Mon comp. What was the best winning 5 Mon composition?
Best
in Reg
win
F?
rate.
Well,
Why don't you just go Tornadus, Landorus?
No.
Damn it.
Yeah, I'm not going to bother guessing because I'm just going to get told I'm wrong again.
Okay, pivot core.
Yeah, Firewater Grass Raging Bolt X.
What's your X? Because you got 4 out of 5.
He doesn't use Twitter.
Shall I say Chempao again? If it's not that, it's Lando Eye.
No, it's actually
What is Among Us?
Ogerpon Fire.
Damn it.
Okay, yeah.
And
With Rillaboom, I get that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So in
True.
in official competition went 241 wins, 112 losses.
I think that Wolf made that team towards the start of the year, I believe, with the grassy, Charlotte with the grassy glide Ogerpon.
Yeah.
I came up against that team first round in Melbourne, and it crushed me.
That would have been an annoying start.
Yeah.
It was.
There was that thing where people were adapting that team and pulling out the Farigiraf, which is very much a Wolfie thing, and just swapping it for Raging Bolt, right?
I think just
One neck for another. I
Neck for
believe.
neck. Yeah.
being able to combine Ogerpon Fire with its ability to just give itself +1 attack, just
Fireization.
Fireization, exactly. Except with more damage output because Zacian didn't have access to terrestrialization. If Zacian was Terra Steel as well,
Yeah.
then maybe. But
I
so
mean, why the fuck not?
We can do it. We have the technology. But yeah, just being able to give something with that much damage output and access to grassy glide, grassy terrain, so just stick it next to the monkey and you're just going to be putting out some insane damage pressure.
And it was funny because like Mold Breaker, you can hit a Farigiraf with your grassy glide.
So third and fourth place in the win rate have 4 out of 5 of the same mons as first place. One of them switches Ogerpon for Chien, and the other one switches Ogerpon for Landorus Eye.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Second place is completely different from the rest of the teams. It went 276 wins, 135 losses. Does anyone want to hazard a guess?
Surely the mushrooms in this one.
Nope.
When you say completely different, there isn't a mon in common.
There's one mon in common.
What's the mon in common? Give us that one.
Chien Pal.
Fuck.
Oh,
Does it have Dragonite in it?
It does.
okay.
Okay,
Dragonite.
it's got that lead. Yeah.
Oh, is it Gouging Fire?
Yes.
Yeah, I know this
okay.
team.
King
yeah.
Gambit?
No.
What's the other part of it that they run?
Ogre Water, right?
No.
No, okay.
Corviknight?
No. Ting and Dozo.
Okay,
It
it's
was
that
Ting and
part.
Oh.
No.
It was Ting Dozo in official competition in Reg F had the second highest.
It was such a late comer, though. That's so
It's
interesting.
such
It was
late
a lot.
comer.
Well, I mean, we're talking about win rate here, not
Yeah.
total points. So it didn't have enough time for all the dumbasses to pick it up and rack up a bunch of losses.
Yeah,
Probably why it ranked so highly.
It's still got 2,050 points based on Lab Mouse's
Damn.
allocation. So
I'm sad
it
I didn't.
cleaned up once it came in.
I'm sad I didn't see more of them. My team was really good into it, and I never got to come up against any in the later stages of Regulation F when it was actually had prevalence. Meanwhile, poor Kieran kept getting gate kept from day 2 with it.
I mean, he did run. What would you consider it a unique? It was pretty unique. He was the strongest soldier of 2 teams, which we'll get to.
I believe so.
Of 2 Pokemon, sorry. So we'll get to that.
I think he was number 1 for one and second for another 2.
He had
maybe?
a bunch. He had a
Yeah.
bunch that he was the strongest soldier.
Well, we'll explain to our
We'll
poor
get there.
audience what we're actually talking about when we say strongest soldier as well.
We'll get there for sure. And the last bit of our Reg F stonks. So these are 4 Mon compositions based on the points they earned in official competition. The winner, 7,960 points with a win rate of 66.44%. What is the 4 Mon core that is the best points getting core?
Firewater, Grass, Chiempow.
Close. That's second.
Damn it.
Damn.
The Grass Raging Bolt.
Yes.
Was it Grass Breloom?
Of course.
Come on, give it to me. I need something tonight.
So second place, Dan got it. Third place was
Firewater, Grass, Glamora.
It kind of is. It's Ogerpon, Water, Raging Bolt, Incin, Flutter.
Okay.
Fourth place, Ogerpon, Water, Tornadus, Urshifu, Dark, Flutter.
Yep.
And fifth place, Chiempow, Raging Bolt, Incin, Urshifu, Water.
Sure.
So the highest win rate, it's super close. These are the win rates of the 4 Mon cores: 66.94, 66.93, 66.90, 66.58, and 66.44.
Damn.
So there's not much in it at all.
Yeah, there's nothing in
I'm
it.
going to assume Incineroar's in most of those.
Incin is in 4 out of 5.
Yeah. Shifu in a bunch of them as well.
Urshifu is in 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
How about Rillaboom?
Rillaboom is in 4 out of 5.
This 1 of 5 has to be Ting Dozo, right?
No. So it is just all the different combinations of the top team from the 5 Mon compositions.
Yeah.
So the toppest, Chien, Raging, Rilla, and Urshifu, Water, and then it just trickles down from there.
Yeah.
Here I am talking about how this regulation was too diverse to deal with.
I mean, it definitely got a period of this is exactly what is the strongest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of been like that the whole reg. I mean, it harkens back to, what was it, Reg B or Reg C, when it was all Arcanine Palathon everywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Arcanine,
it's just-
Pelifin, Amoonguss, and whatever the last one, Fluttermane.
War never changes.
Yeah.
I was going to go into it, and then I was like, nah. But
How many of our listeners are too young to get that reference?
all of them.
Yeah.
Alternatively, none of them.
No, we either really appeal to the Zoomers or we don't. If you're a Zoomer, let us know on Twitter.
Skibbity toilet, am I right, fellow kids?
Archie.
Rank our skibbity riz. Let us know.
Archie in shambles. Okay, so let's move on to our Reg F strongest soldiers. So when we say strongest soldier, what do we mean? Ethan.
So this is another lab mouse metric, metric, if I understand correctly. A spreadsheet was drawn up by somebody. I do not know who. Perhaps someone can help.
It was the Lab Mouse
is
team.
done.
It was the lab mouse team.
Yeah.
Shout out to the lab mouse team.
They do
For-
good work.
Yeah, for drawing up this fantabulous spreadsheet that tallied all of the points made across official events and online tournaments, if I'm understanding.
Yes. So the strongest soldiers are the individuals who earned the most points with a particular mon.
Yes.
So it will be the strongest soldier of X, with X being the Pokemon in question. So you'd have the strongest soldier of Amoonguss would be the person who accumulated the most total points across all the events they played in Reg F using Amoonguss.
Using a team with Amoonguss. So
yes,
yeah.
exactly.
I have in my hand an alphabetized list of all of the Pokemon and
Should I give you the best West Australians first?
Well, yeah, I was going to say,
then we can get onto the interesting part.
Absolutely.
let's not do the whole lest. Let's just skip down to I think if we just head down that way.
So
I have highlighted some interesting
Yes,
ones, but
I
I'll
can
give
see
the
that.
most important. Western Australia, our VGC little group has two strongest soldiers. The first, Melbourne regional champion, Kieran Singh, was the strongest soldier for Roaring Moon. And I've lost the note on who was the other strongest soldier.
I would quickly jump in before that. I'll say that's genuinely impressive considering I know it fell off a little bit, but when Kieran won Melbourne regionals using his Roaring Moon balance core, that team was insanely popular. It was picking up wins across multiple regionals around the world around the similar time. YouTubers were making videos about it. It was a very popular team for high level players. So for Kieran to be, the best performing Roaring Moon player across Regulation F really just goes to show that unlike other good players, he didn't give it up when it became shit.
it's
He's
not
loyal.
even close either.
I think he ended up with 330 lab mouse
320, which is
320.
exactly double what the second place Viveka Runagiri
Damn.
did with it, and that's a known player as well. He must have been using it for quite a lot of the reg, and to double that is just ridiculous. I think, yeah.
Absolutely.
And so Joel, tell us about the other strong. Did someone else in WA top the list for a certain Pokemon?
Mark,
to
would
my
you
knowledge.
like to tell us who topped?
Topped up for which Pokemon? 'Cause there's a big list here.
Why don't you tell us, Mark?
why don't you tell us who the other West Australian strongest soldier was?
It was me actually. Now that I look closer at the list, with my absolute darling little penguin, Iron Bundle.
It's more of a duck.
Fuck you. Go fuck yourself. That's a. Let's head out into the car park. I'll show you why I'm Iron Bundle's strongest soldier. All right.
Don't worry, he'll miss all of his shots like his Hydro Pump.
No, I think with that special defense stat, all I have to do is blow some wind on it.
hey, look. When I first looked at that list, I was quite surprised. Like, surely I'm not the best performing Iron Bundle player.
I think you were the only Iron.
Then I remembered that Raging Bolt exists and Thunderclap exists, and no one's running Iron Bundle for that exact reason.
I believe that's a one tap.
Oh, yeah.
With zero investment.
Yeah. The issue is as well, I was running Terra Ghost to my Iron Bundle, and if I had Chi-Yu on the field, even if I Terra'd to escape the super effective hit, it's still most of the time taking a KO from Thunderclap just because the special defense stat is basically in the single
and it's
digits.
next to Chi-Yu.
Yeah. The Chi-Yu drops it even further. So Iron Bundle being incredibly prevalent as it was somewhat of a Raging Bolt being as prevalent as it was a nightmare for Iron Bundle. But I refused to give it up. I am as loyal as I am strong as a soldier for Iron Bundle.
I believe it's time for a name change in chat, actually, based on that.
Iron Bundle's strongest soldier.
Yeah. You should change your Twitter handle.
I have a question, actually.
Yeah, sure.
You were running Okie Dokie on the same team, correct?
Yeah.
Did you ever get the opportunity to deny a thunderclap with upper hand?
Oh, so many times.
Absolutely.
My favorite thing to do with this Regulation F team, my absolute favorite thing, was you click Encore. So they click Thunderclap with their Raging Bolt because, what else are they going to do? And then you Encore them with Whimsicott. And then for the rest of the game, you just keep clicking upper hand into them until they're dead.
I did a similar thing with my Melbourne team, actually, because I ran Iron Bundle as well. I didn't do well at that tournament, so I wasn't able to stake a claim as Iron Bundle's strongest soldier because it actually disappointed me heavily. But I did run it with Serena, so I was able to do the same thing with Encore on the bundle, and it's delicious just to lock them into Queenly Majesty.
It's very funny.
Encore them into nothing.
Yeah.
I will say though, part of the reason I think I ended up doing as well with Iron Bundle as I did is I was running roughly the same team, definitely the same core 4 across the entirety of Regulation F. And I have to say, I was surprised. I brought Okie Dokie as many times as I brought Iron Bundle, but I was tied third on the list for Okie Dokie. And I was genuinely so surprised to see that Okie Dokie was being significantly more successful than Iron Bundle was. I didn't think anyone else knew Okie Dokie existed.
I can't imagine why that would be. So Kieran, hometown hero, also...
Sorry, Melbourne champion, Kieran Singh.
Melbourne regional champion.
Melbourne regional champion, Mevlad.
Also finished second strongest soldier for Raging Bolt and Ogerpon Wellspring.
Yeah.
Based on the conversation we were just having, I have to say, fuck you, Kieran. Fuck you and the Raging Bolt you rode in on. Go thunderclap yourself.
Thanks for listening, Kieran.
Please, we want you back on. And surprise, surprise, he was the third strongest soldier for the Shroom that he earned 98% of his CP with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think all three of those are ridiculously impressive. I mean,
Yeah.
Roaring Moon is one thing. That wasn't a top meta threat in the same way that those two Pokemon are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous that he was able to achieve that 3 times over.
Coming second for Raging Bolt, and did you say Amoonguss as well?
Ogerpon. Raging Bolt and Ogerpon second, and third place for Amoonguss.
Yeah. So that's Ogerpon. That's not including forms. That's just all Ogerpon.
No,
It's like-
Ogerpon, Wellspring.
Wellspring.
All
But-
the forms are broken down.
Okay,
into
yeah,
their
sure.
separate-
Makes sense. But even then, Wellspring, especially at the start of the format, was topping usage.
Yes. By a long way at the
yeah.
beginning as well.
Amoonguss and Raging Bolt both, majorly used Pokemon, much to my chagrin. So, like Ethan said, just huge props to managing to be one of the most successful with some of the most successful Pokemon.
Yeah, it's a true testament to the work that he's been putting in this year. We also have a second place. Phil Brieg was the second strongest soldier for Great Tusk.
Huge. I'm genuinely surprised literally anyone else in the format was running Great Tusk for him to come second.
What was the point breakdown on Great Tusk, Ethan?
He was actually tied first for it.
Oh.
Yeah,
They both have 80 points.
Tied first.
Yeah.
Apologies, Phil. We have 3 strongest soldiers in WA.
Yeah. Marco Ciavis is before Philip Brieg alphabetically, apparently, so that's why he's the strongest soldier.
I guess I must be doing that with first names.
Perth loses again.
Must
No, yeah, Labmouse saw that we were in Perth and then bumped us down.
Exactly.
I think they put me in Okie Dokie 4th place technically, even though I was tied 3rd for points.
Mhm.
So I think it's a Perth thing.
I think I had a couple of ties like that as well. I was just looking at Serena's strongest soldiers just to see if I made it. And I think I did get 40 CP for Melbourne, which means that I was just bumped out of being third. I think I'm Serena's 4th strongest soldier, is what I'm saying.
Pretty well. But you were in the top 3 for one Mon, Ethan.
I was. So, dear listeners, you will recall a few episodes back, I was talking about my team for Regulation F, in which I decided to bring Terrafire Carmine Sylveon. Now, at this Perth Regional just gone, I was able to accrue 50 CP for my 40th place finish, And that was apparently enough to land me 3rd place in the strongest soldier ranking for Sylveon. I am Sylveon's 3rd strongest soldier.
And look, much like Kieran, you've got Raging Bolt, Amoonguss, Ogerpon Wellspring, Sylveon, all, massively used Pokemon. Equally impressive achievement to be up there in 3rd place. Yeah,
I think so. I'd like to give a quick shout out to Beast Coast Pokemon, who actually predicted that Sylveon may have a place in the meta a few weeks on their own podcast a few weeks before for Perth regionals, and I would like to think that in my own small way I have proven them right.
I mean, I think it is the most Ethan Pokemon to be strongest soldier with.
It is fabulous, yes. It's just like you.
I'm proud of myself.
I do feel very left out. I didn't get a top 3 since everyone else at the table.
This is what you get for running meta trash.
Yes.
I mean, I got nothing as well. So don't feel too bad.
You didn't come to tournaments.
I mean, I
think you placed better than anyone else at the table. So.
My highest was Iron Hands at 11th, and it was the column where they didn't even give us a number. It was
they were just like, actually, you're here.
I was there.
Joel, next year, if you want to be a stronger soldier, maybe actually stick around for regionals instead of heading off to a gig on the other side of the country.
No, I'm judging next year, man.
You will be TPCI's strongest soldier.
My goal is to get myself to an intercontinental or international next year, so we'll see if that happens.
Hell yeah, man.
Dan,
yes.
I would like to give you a team next year for next regionals, just so that you know what it feels like to be the strongest soldier of something.
Looking at this, I feel like Camerupt with 1 point might be the way to go.
If anyone can make Camerupt work,
you just need to make a 5-mon team and then just put some dead weight
just
in
throw
there.
it there. I was like, finally.
Just put something in there to throw people off.
Yeah.
Like wide guard on a restricted. Like it's there just to make people think you're going to press it.
Wasn't there a Magikarp in the top 8 of a regional from years and years ago?
Yeah.
That was Robert Whitehill, right?
To be fair, that was probably when it had Z Splash, right?
Maybe.
God, can you just hear the crickets?
Hey, man, I wasn't playing competitive then. I was barely born, but it's Z Splash raised like all stats by 3 stages or something, I think.
Just attack.
Oh, it's a just attack.
Yeah. Z Splash Solgaleo was a thing in singles for a while.
That's very funny.
That is funny.
That's wild.
Joel, you've looked at this spreadsheet a lot. Do you know what Pokemon has the most points for the strongest soldier?
The most points for the strongest soldier.
The strongest and
The
sultriest.
strongest of the
So
soldiers.
essentially what we're saying is the Pokemon that had the most success in Regulation F. Would that be correct?
Yeah, that's the
Once you find out what it is, I'd probably argue against that.
Look at Incineroar first.
Yeah, probably a good call.
I mean, I only looked at it today.
I know, I put you on the spot, I'm sorry.
To put it together. It's got to be Raging Bolt.
That would be my second guess.
Close, but no cigar. Obviously, one of the most popular ones was Chien Pao.
Yeah.
699 points.
Nice.
By whom?
That was, Alt Kyle.
Okay, so online tours.
Yes. And speaking of Alt Kyle, because he was farming tours like online for a long time, especially at the start of the format, he also tied Ogerpon Teal Mask at 699.
Oh my god.
So Teal Mask was how much more successful than
yeah.
basically everything I took?
What is
I'm looking this up.
Ogerpon's second place strongest soldier? Because surely the difference is huge.
Yeah, true.
So yeah, 699 for Teal Mask, and then Hearthflame and Wellspring are 420 apiece, actually.
Teal Mask did better than Hearthflame and Wellspring.
I think Alt Kyle just used it more in online tours than the other players.
Yeah, fair. What was the second place person for Teal Mask?
That's a very, very good question.
Is there a second person on there? Was anyone else running Teal Mask?
It's actually the winner of the most recent regionals, Rajan Bal, who just won with Miraidon.
Okay.
He got, let's see, 190 points. So it's just not even
That's
close.
500 points lower.
Yeah. And then it was Chopper Cross.
That's wild.
Nice.
Wow, that Dozo team he made with Teal Mask did that much of an impact.
I highlighted some interesting mons on this, or mons that I at least thought interesting.
Yeah.
Stefan Mott got 170 lab mouse points with Clefairy.
Ooh.
Based.
Clefairy's one I saw a lot towards the tail end of Reg F, I think.
It definitely was picking up. It was definitely a late bloomer.
People were running that
It was-
sing set.
It was a late bloomer, but it was kind of like a reverse bell curve where it was picking up a lot early on when people were running the Komodo teams. A lot of people were running Clefairy on those.
I believe that we call that a parabola.
I'm loving these extended silences.
It's
Feel
cool.
the silence. Feel the silence.
Cool, Joe. Have you ever considered touching boobs?
I'm married. Have you ever considered?
No, I'm too busy being Iron Bundle Strongest Soldier.
If you're 25 and not married, what are you doing?
I swore a solemn oath of chastity.
I believe you haven't had sex since starting this podcast, right?
No one who starts a podcast has sex.
Look, Dan and I are both married, and we can both contend that is in fact true.
I'm having a lot of sex. Good.
Proud of you, buddy.
Some of us have to.
Hey, maybe if you weren't, you would have been Sylveon's first strongest soldier.
What can I say?
You don't need it. Reg G's fucking us already. So
I can't use Sylveon anymore.
Reg G is in fact wild.
I mean, come on, the two of the top used Pokemon in Reg G have the word ride on in them. Like,
Yeah.
Me ride on these nuts.
is that an acceptable nickname, Mr. Judge?
No. I would avoid putting D's nuts in any Pokemon name.
Hey, now that Regulation F is finished and went into Regulation G, am I now allowed to name my Okidogi Dogi style?
Because you're not going to be using it. Is that the bit?
No, it's still on the team.
Still on the team?
I still hate Incineroar.
Look, that is entirely up to you. But other top soldiers, of course, Ninetales Alola, Nikhil Reddy, 200 points from his one win.
Naturally.
Naturally.
And Amir Abdulovsky was the third place one, I believe. So
Yes, he was. Yeah.
it just goes to show Utrecht.
Yeah, Utrecht, exactly. Smeargle, run by
I'm cutting you off right there.
Move on.
Brian Collins, 190 points.
I think that's more points than I got with Iron Bundle. I think I was on 110.
So Ursaluna Physical, Niels Dunlop was tied second with 200 from his one win. But it was Diego Ferreira in first place with 250. Walking Wake by Pengy, which is Stefan Mott, 123 points in online tours.
Nice.
And then Zapdos Gala was led by Genting Lu with
I love
190
Genting Lu.
points.
Nice.
I like to think of him as an honorary Spanish player
Yeah.
on account of their Gens Tinglus.
And also because Galarian Zapdos is the bomb. But I have to
That
say,
too.
I do love Galarian Zapdos, which that, by the way, Joel, is a fucking duck. Okay.
Is it?
I don't think it has
Regular
webbed feet.
Zapdos is.
It's more like a spicy chicken.
Its beak is
Yeah.
pointed. It's not dumb.
Next, they'll be saying the Porygon 2 is a dog.
I at the beginning of Reg F was really trying to be proficient with Gouging Fire, How, and Scarf Gyapdos. So I'd like trained my Gouging Fire to be exactly 1 point of speed faster
Nice.
than Gyapdos, but everyone could see the play coming. And I was like, I have to lead with this because it's the play, and I should have just been a back play,
Yeah.
and I was dumb. So I just went to Trick Room.
That is where all dumb players end up.
Play the same thing every game and somehow win anyway. Yeah.
Yep.
There's nothing better than going on cart and being like, I wonder if they're gonna like try and play around my Trick Room, and they don't play around your Trick Room, and you tried to play around them playing around your Trick Room, and then you lose.
Your mistake was assuming that your opponent would be competent on
On cart, I know.
on cartridge. Yeah.
So all of my losses in Reg F on cart were from thinking that my opponent was going to play around the Trick Room, and if I had have just stuck to the A strategy,
Yeah.
instead
Yeah.
of thinking that that team had a B strategy,
You played yourself. Yeah.
I played myself so much.
On an unrelated note, how many points did Pengy get for running Walking Wake?
123. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, that's almost a special attack stat.
Almost.
Almost.
A few points off.
Two,
yeah.
to be specific. Yeah.
I'm sure he got all of those points in online tours, which is where walking weight belongs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was Reg F. Thank you, Reg F, for being just very interesting in 3 out of 4 of our opinions.
Fuck off and die.
Ethan's dying on that hill. So we recently had the Indianapolis Regional Championships. Was the first official regionals in Reg G. Of course, us being in Perth, Western Australia, it is a terrible time to watch because we are exactly 12 hours apart.
Mhm.
Yep.
And they start at like 11 p.m. streaming or something. So I think I caught 2 or 3 matches and I watched the finals at work today when I should have been a very busy boy.
Hey, does your boss listen to this podcast?
No.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
You mean you had it on in the car as you were driving home, listening to it?
No.
I gave you an out. Come on, man.
I have 3 screens. I can watch things and do my job.
Were you doing your job at the same time?
Yeah, it was actually. It was just data entry, so it's pretty easy. So, I mean, I don't want to command the Reg G opinions. Maridon winning the first thing of Reg G was not on my bingo card.
Yeah, didn't see it coming.
Dan, how do you feel?
So happy. And so sad at the same time because now everyone knows the source, which is the double-edged sword of doing well.
I was legitimately baffled at how much that bloody bike did with Volt Switch.
Oh, it's so amusing. It was Volt switching an Incineroar and it dies.
I'm kind of out of the loop here. It was Terra Electric choice specs.
I believe it
Yes.
was.
Yep.
That's so hot.
Yeah,
So much damage.
As the resident Unga Bunga player,
Yeah, and it was I don't have the team list. Because
I've memorized it.
You've
It is
memorized-
Maridon, Farigiraf, Whimsicott, Cornerstone, Blood Moon, and now I've lost the last one on. After I said I memorized it,
We're counting on you.
Incineroar.
yes.
Insignia.
Yeah.
So that it was a tail room team then.
Yeah. So it was timid max speed Blood Moon to outspeed Shadow Rider in Tailwind.
Nice.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's hot.
Did it have anything to like Dark Pulse or anything to hit it? Or
No, it was just like
It doesn't need
here's a
it.
normal move.
Well, that's true. It's strong. Callie's frail. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense.
But yeah, no, it was actually the finals I was really excited to see the turtle in the finals. I said in an earlier episode that Terapagos is my guy.
Yeah.
I want to make Terapagos good.
Yeah. I'm a believer as well. I've got to say I wasn't expecting the main sort of set to be just straight up choice specs.
I was not either. I was thinking
neither.
that the Carmine set was going
Absolutely.
to be the
Yeah.
set. And you would probably need to like tail room it to get your speed control. But honestly, Glass Terapagos, as I think it's been nicknamed, just max speed, max special attack, choice specs.
Send it. Yeah.
Send it. You support it with Tailwind and Icy Wind. Like, well, I mean, it depends on what you're running. But the team I have been using on ladder, I think I peaked at like 14, 15 with it, is just like Chi-Yu for damage boost, support Flutter Main for speed control and taunt. And then I think it's got like Urshi Water to hit some of its threats, and
Sure, it's
the
a Mungus.
shroom, the shroom, yeah. So
That
yeah,
was
no,
the 6 of the second place one.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the two teams in the final, so first and second place, were both just running choice specs on their restricted mons.
yes.
I
think
love
that-
it. I love this format.
Yeah. I think it says something, right? Just put more damage on Big Mon.
I mean, to be fair, every single format going back as far as I've played competitive VGC always starts incredibly aggressively and incredibly fast-paced, incredibly hard-hitting, and then as people find answers, as people find resistances and strategies, that it tends to slow down. Teams get bulkier and slower because
More
the hard-hitting
pivot-heavy.
ones, more pivot-heavy, as the hard-hitting ones eventually kind of come up against teams where they can't, be as successful with those really
By just clicking the button.
by just clicking the buttons. Yeah.
I think, as we said in a previous episode regarding Series 12 from Sword and Shield, that started off extremely zoomy, and by the end of it, we had these really bulky and hard-hitting mons, and that World Championship was exquisite to watch.
Yeah.
It was in our time zone. Was it?
It was Japan, yes.
Japan, yeah.
Oh, no,
London.
2022 was London, yes.
London. So it was
But
only an 8-hour difference.
It wasn't too bad for us because we could it would start at
it was starting at
like 9 a.m., which is 5 p.m. for us.
Yeah.
And so we would just finish up work and then rock up at a mate's place with a big bucket of KFC and just spend the night watching the World Championships. That was good.
Yeah, but that World Championships, so many 1, 2, 3 HP survivals, and the benefit of that series as well, which I'm sure we're going to get back soon, was the spectator mode. So you could see the HPs of the Pokemon, so you could sit there watching it and you could kind of calc how bulky is this Pokemon? Is it max or has it got bulk investment? So that was just an exquisite championship to watch, and being part of the lead up to that World Championship, seeing the 8 months of evolution from, or nearly 12 months of evolution from absolute zoom and boom to I need this to survive. And I think we got a taste of it with Reg F.
Yep.
We don't know do we know how long Reg G is going to be? I think it finishes in August, right? And
I think it finishes basically after the World Championships.
It is the World's format.
So we've got it for a few months.
And
should be enough, maybe.
I mean, you could see
what to go back to bulky pivot.
Bulky pivot.
I think how far ahead of the World Championships is the North American International Championships?
2 months, I think. Because it's in June.
There's not that many events after.
0.
Yeah, so
NAIC is the end of the, I suppose you call it official season.
Of the season, yes.
We get July as a break, which we all need because it's super sweaty.
Yep.
And then we should kick off with official events in August, with Worlds being like the crescendo. The previous season.
So I guess my question is, will there be enough events for the format to actually even itself out?
There will be plenty of online tours.
Yeah. So that's, I guess, what's going to have to carry us through to Worlds and kind of where people are going to have to figure out the meta.
Yeah, I think we should try and set up something on Victory Road for West Australians and other Australians as well, because all of those tournaments are starting at like 1 a.m.
Yeah, fair enough.
Some kind of invitational.
The O2 Drop Invitational.
Yeah, I like it.
Everyone's invited.
Anyone who wins the first game is disqualified.
But yeah, so let's talk Indianapolis and the matches that we saw. Mark, I believe you said you hadn't seen much of it, or
I saw the first part of day one because, as you said, it starts incredibly late. I was at a bar with my friends. And in the group chat,
okay,
people,
you have those?
Yeah, it's crazy. I know. Not after I started this podcast, actually, but
So you were drinking alone?
I was drinking alone in a bar, and then the group chat started saying, "Oh, Indianapolis is about to start. First series of Reg G. There's going to be a stream up." I was saying to my friends at the bar, I was like, "Getting kind of late, guys. I'm getting kind of tired. I guess I'm going to have to go home and go to bed."
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Headed home. Booted up the stream to check out the games. And the ones I saw, I have to say, were pretty boring.
I mean, they were interesting in my opinion because it's all new.
Well, yeah, fair enough. I from the replays I've watched, the day 2 matches and the final matches were far more interesting.
Yes.
And wasn't there a Lugia day 1?
There was a Lugia day 1, and I may be forgetting how it played out, but did that Lugia get stomped?
Pretty sure he got spanked, yeah.
That's always the way with these cool, interesting Pokemon on stream. Is as soon as they make it to a stream match, there might be 6-0 for the day, and then as soon as it's on stream, it just gets annihilated, and it just leaves us all wondering, we see this like, oh, there's a really cool Pokemon that someone's brought, they're 6-0, we get to see how it works, and then it just gets stomped as we expect it to. And it's like, well, we've learned nothing here.
Remember, kids, if you're having fun with this game, no, you're not.
Yeah, correct. If you're having fun with this game, you're not going to win, that's for
you're
sure.
Playing it wrong if you're having fun.
Correct.
So the usage was very interesting in terms of restricted. Day 2 was what, 50% horses. It was what, 38% Ice Rider, and then 18%. I may have got that in the wrong, like 28 and then 18 or something as the percentages for the horses.
Peter, the horse is here.
All right.
Kyogre also coming in like third, I think was nice.
That was surprising to me, actually, because we were all kind of saying that with all of these super powered restrictors running around and Sun being, for the first time, quite a bit better than Rain, in my opinion, with Koraidon, I was sort of tempted to say that Kyogre had fallen off.
How dare you disrespect?
No, I think
VGC OG.
I think Groudon fell off because Koraidon replaced it as a Sunsetter. But I think the fact that Kyogre is still the rain setter, I think that's why it was seeing a lot of play. I think also the fact that, Koraidon is very strong, but Kyogre underspeeds Koraidon. So if you both lead your restricteds, well, not even trick room, but if you both lead your restricteds, your Kyogre is going to win and the rain is going to be up. So Koraidon players actually have to play around that when they're up against Kyogre teams.
And even if you're bringing in a sunsetting resist on Water Spout, you're not going to have an amazing time.
yeah. It's still Water Eruption, except for a Pokemon that actually has a decent special attack stat.
So have you seen all those Twitter clips of like it OHKOing Raging Bolts and Terra Water Insins? It's so funny.
No, but that sounds amazing.
The Miraidon?
No, the Kyogre.
No.
Yeah.
What Terra Water specs? So
Although my question is,
set to ELO's Mr. Blue Sky.
they are one hit knocking out. OHKOing. They're OHKOing.
Yeah.
They're OHKOing Raging Bolt. What are they doing to stop the Raging Bolt from just one tapping it with Thunderclap?
I think Ethan, one of your mons is making a comeback because of Kyogre Serena.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Sarina seeing play?
Yeah.
I love that.
It also gets Helping Hand for big water spouts. So
The biggest water spout.
I think I need to try that, actually. I didn't know this.
We've corrupted
This
you.
is a development.
So I've just gone digging and found the top mon usage for day 1. So we'll start with restricteds. Scary Horse, 18%. Ice Horse, 18%. Kyogre, 11. Basically rounded to 12. Koraidon, 11. Miraidon, 9. Terrapagus, 9. This is all percentage.
Yep.
Zamazenta, 6. And Groudon, 5. Zacian in shambles.
It makes me so happy to see Zamazenta doing better than Zacian.
Yeah,
That's not necessarily better. This is usage.
Okay, yeah. Well, to be brought more than Zacian, I feel like all of Generation 8, as soon as restricted Pokemon became allowed in Generation 8, Zacian was annihilating Zamazenta in usage. Like, we're talking Zacian was at the top, and Zamazenta was never mentioned.
Yeah.
And to see Zamazenta overtake Zacian in usage, it gives me the tinglies.
Yeah, say what you will about Game Freak. They have a really good way of applying nerfs in a way that don't look like they'll work in paper, but in practice they have the desired effect, because now that Intrepid Sword doesn't activate on every switch in and rather only on the first one, it's very, very easy for any player with an Incineroar to just intimidate it once, and then that ability's gone for the remainder of the game.
Yep.
Zacian's biggest nerf, was the Behemoth Blade animation. It's dog shit now. It's so
It was amazing.
it was so good.
I have to say, I think a lot of the animations in Generation 9 have been a come down from Generation 8.
100%, yeah.
I only noticed recently.
Graphically in general, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. Like the heat wave animation is just kind of like, yeah, exactly. The Pokemon on the other side both just kind of recoil as a bit of a fire animation, whereas in Generation 8 it would kind of like face the Pokemon using it as like this orange wave would just kind of shoot from behind it. It like, you're right, a lot of the animations, don't even get me started on Urshifu Water's Rapid Strike.
You're dead.
Yeah. Still doing the same impressive amount of damage, but it doesn't look nearly as cool while it's doing it, and that's disappointing.
That sounded like RuneScape hitting noises. That was so good.
Hey, I did play it for many years. I tried to get back into it recently and I didn't, but that's for the other podcast. Now, of course, Zacian is not going to appear on any sort of usage while this is the case. Insin, day 2, 70.49% of the field.
Oh,
The cat
Jesus.
is back.
It is indeed.
Okie dokie stonks rising.
Anyone want to hazard a guess where the former queen was for day 12?
Ogerpon, Wellspring,
Fluttermane.
Fluttermane, right.
Was it second row? Is it the seventh?
Second row, yeah.
Seventh or fourth, I'm pretty sure.
Uh,
I'm not
Ninth.
surprised. It's-
ninth in day 2, non-restricted usage, 19.67%.
That's not the lowest it's ever been, right? I think it has been lower than that once since.
I mean, for day 2, that's
day 2, yeah. No, I think you're right. That might be the lowest it's ever been.
Pelipper overtake it?
Pelipper, yeah, 26%.
Fuck!
There was a match where someone was using the Life Orb Pelipper.
Yeah.
Oh, that was hype.
That makes me so happy.
It's weather balls. I think it OCO'd a neutral. I think
Yeah, it does a lot.
it might have been a Fluttermane.
That's
not,
some
no,
duck
not a Fluttermane.
supremacy.
It was something. I remember.
Something, yeah.
Sorry, that's some what supremacy, Ethan?
I said pelican.
Thank you.
But yeah, so day 2 restricted. I have it properly now. Is 32% Ice Horse, 16% Shadow Horse, 14% Terapagos, 11% Kyogre, 6% Miraidon, 6% Zamazenta, 5 Koraidon, and 3% Groudon. So just
that was
from
day
those
2.
day 2 usage.
Okay.
So just from those numbers alone, we can see what was successful in a Swiss situation, but what was successful in a Swiss situation versus a final situation was obviously very different.
It just seems like the shitter Shadow Riders got knocked out of day 2.
That's what it feels like.
It really just seemed the bring of the moron. Like, yeah. Just, as someone who runs Shadow Rider Calyrex, it is the most brain dead restricted to use. Never before have I had a Pokemon that is more just like click one button. I feel like if
I'm
there were
shocked that you're running Shadow Rider.
I feel like if there were more sleep threats, like if Amoonguss became more common, I would genuinely see people running Shadow Rider Calyrex with Astral Barrage and Sleep Talk as its only 2 moves.
Wasn't there a Mon mention there was Terapagos with only Sleep Talk and Terra Star?
Yeah, the Specs one. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
I
so
love
that
that.
it would get spored, switch out, come back in, and click Sleep Talk.
Yes,
And
love
still be able to do.
that.
Amazing. And you don't use up the PP either.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. So obviously we can't super deep dive because none of the information on Top Card Explorer or
Is up yet? No.
Lab Mouse is available yet. So look, we'll just wrap up today by talking how does these results influence us going forward in Reg G? Dan.
Rajan has leaked the tech. And every monkey on Showdown seems to be a unga boongeringer with it now. Unfortunately. So
I played it 3 times on Best of 3 ladder with Gloom, and I won twice.
you're using Gloom.
I'm using Gloom on ladder.
Base.
Nice.
We have not talked about that team yet.
No, we need to mention Gloom.
Let's get into it next episode.
Okay. So sorry, everyone. You're gonna have to wait a week.
The Dugong 6.
We'll do the Mugong. We're gonna edge you guys out, and we can talk about that later.
But yes, definitely. Is this going to be Unga Boonga for a bit? There's a lot of Miraidons on Showdown, and still a lot of Terapagos.
I'm not sure how I feel about that, to be honest, because looking at that usage, there was a lot of horse spamming going on. And I just wonder if it was just kind of a bit of a fluke of the bracketing system and just Rajan Bal being a very, very good player with a very well put together team that we got Terapagos and Miraidon in the
I think it
end.
possibly could be because the guy who technically was undefeated with Terapagos played another Terapagos in his top 8 map.
Yeah, that was Nails. Yeah.
So maybe, Specs Terapagos is worth the hype, and he just got match-upped on finals, which is embarrassing for him. But, yeah.
Sliff will be able to back me up because I've been sharing him the team and the replays since I started playing Reg G. I've been on Specs Terapagos for at least four weeks now.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the shit. I love it.
One of them was running Hyper Beam, right?
One of them was.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's the, is it Leon craft
No,
react.
he got
Lenny
hyper
Craft.
beamed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got
I
hyperbeamed.
I love that so much.
Got
Yeah.
Terra Stellar Specs hyperbeamed.
Yes. It was so funny.
And the dude's face is just
Would
like,
recommend
"Whoa."
everyone watching that clip. The eyes popped out of his head. It just Ode this Urshifu into the next dimension. So
Oh, he did it into an Urshifu as well?
yeah.
Mark's done for the evening, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so that's Terrapagos, and I'm fully on the Terrapagos train. I think that thing is just like overtuned DLC garbage, and I love it. On the
Ogapon
other
says
hand,
what?
on the other hand, Miraidon, even with original win, I'm not fully convinced by it, to be honest. It's very, very powerful, and it definitely showed us what it can do. But I wonder, like, just all the shit that's coming out and using it will give everybody a lot of practice against it. And there's just, if you are faster than it and you can hit it hard enough, it's like any other offensive one. It's like Gen 8 Zacian in that sense. It can only-
Gen 8 Zacian, the notoriously poor performing Pokemon. Yes.
Exactly. Like, it's going to be very good, but it's not going to be entirely unbeatable. And I think that will be borne out as we go. That's a prediction of mine.
Oh yeah, it's definitely just like the flavor of, I guess, the week, because it just won something.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to try it
yeah,
out.
yeah.
So
I will say, though, as one of those people that wants to try it out, I discounted Miraidon pretty early on into my Regulation G testing.
As did I.
So I started with Violet because I thought Miraidon looked cooler than Koraidon, which is how I've picked all the games since I've started playing. But into Reg G, I tried Miraidon, wasn't a huge fan, and went to Koraidon, which I quite enjoyed. But now, after watching this, I guess my issue was I wasn't putting enough damage on it. So
that's the thing. Like, I know it's going to sound like I'm going back on what I just said, but I never fully discounted Miraidon. Like, I don't think it's going to be absolutely meta-breaking ridiculous in the same way that Kali Shadow is, but I never thought it was going to be absolutely terrible. It's somewhere in the middle, but I think the reason that everybody was kind of discounting it and calling it Mid-Raidon and all of the other allegations was because people were running all of these shitty, like, Terra Fairy Calm mindsets when they should have been just going balls to the wall.
Yeah.
Terra Electric Specs, Electro Drift, kill
Yeah.
shit. What is a resist? I don't know.
Reg G definitely started off as like a calm mind meta.
Yeah.
And we get to our first tournament where we're already choice specs and things.
I think everybody was still very much kind of Reg F brained. Firewater
Yes.
Grass, Raging Bolt, some restricted, and then I don't know, fucking Urshifu.
Lando I.
Yeah. But
Shenpao.
now people are realizing that, oh my god, I can kill shit again.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling.
Yeah.
I would say that Reg G Indianapolis doesn't change my approach at all. I'm still definitely on the Terrapagos train, and I'm going to continue testing Gloom on my alt because it's fun.
You need to let it go. It won somewhat online tour or something, right?
Yeah.
One time. It's a gimmick. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Look, gimmicks sometimes have their mark. Utrecht, after all.
Yeah, which wasn't good after the first tournament. It won once because it was a gimmick. That's what I'm trying to say.
You only need to win one tournament to be Iron Bundle's strongest soul.
I actually took it to 2 tournaments.
Attaboy.
And you won neither of them.
Okay, well, everyone, thank you very much for joining me this evening. That wraps up the O2 drop for this episode. To the listeners, thank you for taking the time out of your day to be with us. We appreciate you and would love for you to join us again. You can follow us on Twitter or X at the02drop_VGC. Don't forget to give us, comment on one of our shit posts, like some stuff, share some stuff, review on Listening App, all that sort of stuff. We love it. And if you're in Perth, tell us what you love about the show. Until next time.